But what is the true definition of an anti-MGTOW? Well, that you are about to see. An anti-MGTOW is a brave and moral social activist that consciously rejects the false teachings of MGTOW and fights to end its current existence. There are three main reasons for joining the anti-MGTOW resistance. The first reason is MGTOW is full of bullshit, while anti-MGTOW relies on objectively looking at reality and making logical and reasonable arguments. We use articles, sources from psychologists to reveal how human nature truly works. On the other hand, MGTOW consistently fail to prove their insane ideas. They fail to use reliable evidence, and some of the prominent MGTOW showed the weakness of their arguments by using Wikipedia as a source. They fail to use proper logic and instead opt for circular reasoning to explain their positions. You ask them to prove hypergamy, and they give an example of a woman leaving a man for money. Then you ask why the woman left, and they say because she is looking for the man with the most money. So because a situation is explained as hypergamous, they prove hypergamy. And can anyone really tell me that is good logic? They do not have not one scientist, psychologist, or biologist, or even a professional study that proves the existence of hypergamy, gynocentrism, and etc. Why believe in a group that lacks credibility? They fail to properly interpret statistics, which shows how out of touch they are with reality. For example, many come to the conclusion that women will most likely divorce them because 70% of women cause divorce. But if we follow their logic, I could argue that a man will most likely rape a woman because most women are raped by men. Does that sound reasonable, logical, or even believable? Of course not. So why believe in the bullshit of MGTOW? Not all MGTOW are like this, but many fail to present the truth, and it is inexcusable to allow. Stand against this insanity is that the MGTOW community itself have some of the most depressing and pathetic attitudes in the world. Many MGTOW in the community are selfish and apathetic towards the plights of women and are only concerned with themselves, and MGTOW even admitted this in one of his videos. It's more obvious when you realize that MGTOW is just a bitter group of men. When you see their attitudes and treatment of women, such as generalizing them as all whores, you have to wonder whether they exist in the real world. There are videos with many likes and comments bashing and hating on women. Even more appalling is how hypocritical many tend to be. They cry and whine about women using shaming language, yet they have no remorse when they say tradcons, cucks, simps, beta to shame those with a different opinion, like you and me. Is this a tolerant group that supports a man's right to stand up for what he believes in without being disrespected? Please continue your embarrassingly lame and hilarious hate comments because you continue to prove our point of the insecurity and weakness that you have projected. It is clear that the MGTOW community lacks the integrity to even set an example of truth. That is why we must keep this failed experiment from the youth. From the toxicity, negativity, and cancer that is embedded in the MGTOW community. And while not all MGTOW are like this, a vocal and great portion are. How disgusting. How sick. This community seems more cancerous than watching a one-starred, cringy feminist chick flick. It is time to reveal anti-MGTOW's final revelation, an ugly truth that we call MGTOW devastation. MGTOW is a devastation towards the well-being of men. MGTOW never condemned those who decide to ghost, guys who isolate themselves from society to avoid detection. The problem with this is it deprives us of our need for human connection. This can lead to anxiety and hinder our ability to deal with life. Many MGTOW encourage or fail to speak out against MGTOW monkism, the idea that men should not have relationships of any kind with women. What a philosophy of cynicism and sexism. MGTOW monks and some other MGTOW who are not monks argue that women will steal your money. How funny, this sounds like a man in Germany saying, a certain group of people are coming to take his money. It seems a great portion of MGTOW don't seem to take into account a person's character and social values of a society. Men cannot have a fulfilling life if they are plagued by prejudice such as believing in this fallacy. Prejudice is something that is irrational and colors our view of reality. And by being unrealistic and stereotypical can we form hateful views which creates a sad mentality. If we start to feel bitter and hate certain groups of people, then they will treat us poorly, and if they treat us poorly, we will feel worse, and then we will treat them worse. In response, and the cynical cycle continues. Why join a group that is toxic, counterproductive, and cynical? Why follow a group that has no defined philosophy, no direction other than leaving society for some paranoid reason? Why support a group that believes in loony ideas like gynocentrism, which have no proof. It is clear that the only legacy MGTOW will leave behind is a legacy of failure. This mess, the anti-MGTOW community, are individuals who are talented, brave, responsible, respectful, and truly care about men because they are willing to fight for the truth. We may not have the most views, we may not have the most money, we may not have the latest editing software, we may not have the most videos, but what we do have is a mission of truth, and we have a possible solution that is a stepping stone to solving problems. The MGTOW offer you nothing, but we offer something. We offer a solution that the anti-MGTOW philosophy has. To help and fight the injustice, our solution is activism, to make change, education to know the truth, and community to support each other and use that to encourage others who are struggling to get professional help. We focus on the individuals and their morality as a central focus to solving problems. We want to use our philosophy to show people what we should be aiming for and how we should be thinking, rather than MGTOW, which is telling people what they must think. Change must start with the individual. Anti-MGTOW believes in ethocentrism. It is the idea that man should make ethics the center of his life and focus on serving the best interests of the community while putting less emphasis on himself. By reforming the individual to become a good and moral human being, we can from there solve problems by a case-by-case basis. There are 4 core beliefs of anti-MGTOW philosophy. Love, which help a man become the best version of himself if he has good morals. L, logic and reliable sources make great arguments. O, opportunity for reform exists because people have free will. V, vocation. Vocations should do something that benefit humanity. E, empathy. Empathy towards others opens a door. Empathy towards others opens a door for education and discussion. You do not have to follow any of this to be an anti-MGTOW. This is not all the anti-MGTOW philosophy, but this is what I've created so far. In the future, I will be working towards fully developing anti-MGTOW philosophy and nailing it down. It is a start and a solution, something that the MGTOW has failed to give its community. Anti-MGTOWs care greatly about the male community because we are willing to debate and get dirty in the trenches to show the fallacy and fake news that embodies MGTOW. Anti-MGTOW represents the American dream of hope, change, and of freedom. Hope that society can improve. Hope that change through our free will can make it possible. Finally, freedom. We want to be free men of the tyrannical and fascistic MGTOW community, a community where many cannot accept other opinions and shame others for daring to question their faulty logic and evidence for their conspiracy theories. Clearly, unlike the depressing nonsense MGTOW poisons its members with every day, we leave you with hope and dreams for a better tomorrow. We leave you with the official anti-MGTOW anthem, a song and philosophy that represents the beauty that is still left in this world and a way to break free from the MGTOW sorrow. It is time to take a stand and fight back against the demented MGTOW wonderland. Stop shaming, crying, complaining, whining, bitching, and free yourself from the trap. MGTOW is slavery. Drop the chains. Drop the MGTOW label. Are you a MGTOW or are you a man? Make a choice and choose freedom. Choose anti-MGTOW. Stand up for the best interests of man.